Good morning. This is my oral examination.
Question number one. What is globalization to you in a personal sense? How has it affected your current mindset, life situations, and the like?
Globalization, in my personal sense, is sharing or trading of different resources, namely like technologies, products, cultures, and many other more. And it has affected my mindset in terms of setting standards in products. To think that other product overseas is much more better quality than our local products. And also in our educational system, to think that they are much more better than us. The overseas schools and educational system is much more advanced and much more improved than our own because they have the best technology, they have more advanced technology and more better quality products. And also in terms of having giving importance to our culture. It has greatly affected me that in to facilitate myself to study different cultures rather than to give more importance to our own culture and love our own culture. Number two.
Number two. What do you think is the greatest challenge presented on regionalization and globalization in the Philippines? How can this challenge be addressed accordingly?
For me, as I have observed, the most great, the most challenge in our, the most great challenge in Philippines today is in our medical field. Because as I have researched and as I have read through the research of different researchers, that our nurses, graduate nurses, would rather choose to apply abroad rather than to work locally, so that it has greatly affect us, especially in times of pandemic. We have much lower lower equipments, lower manpower frontliners. And to address this to address this issue, we must give more job opportunities, benefits to our medical employees, to our nurses, doctors, and many more. And one of the major, I think the major also, the most challenging is that our on giving importance to our culture because we are much more indulged in other countries' culture rather than to study and love our own.
Question number three. What are the aspects that hinder Philippines from becoming a first world country and why?
For me, the most affecting aspect of the Philippine people that has hindered us to be a first world country is that the mentality and having a crab mentality, which incorporated everyone to rather choose overseas products than to choose our local products and to support, and to rather work abroad than to work locally. And it is greatly affecting our economy, especially in the medical field. As I have said earlier, that nurses would rather choose to work abroad rather than to choose to work in our local hospitals, and is greatly affecting our medical situation. And the second one is our educational system, that the quality of our education is being reduced and has not greatly improving the sets of comparing ourselves to other countries. It has greatly affected our standards or our improvement in the educational field. Number four.
Question number four. As a Filipino youth of today, what can you contribute so that Philippines will have a chance to be in a cluster of global north countries? Expound your answer.
As a Filipino youth, in order for me to help the country to be in that rank is to do my best in my studies and to support our culture, to give more importance to our culture and to be more patriotic, to love our country more, to support our local products, to support our local jobs, and be be a light or be the fire that kindles in our citizens to support our Filipino people or our Filipino country. That's all. Number 5.
Question number 5. What do you think are the major problems faced by the leaders in the global community in terms of global governance? How do this issue affect you on a personal level?
In global governance, the problem that greatly affects everyone, or in my own personal, is the conflicts, the war. It has greatly affect us worldwide, especially, for example, what happened to Ukraine and Russia. The petroleum or the fuel rise up, the prices rise up. And it's greatly affect me in a personal sense because in my traveling I have to pay much expensive fuel, expensive fare in buses and in jeepneys. And also the infectious diseases which strikes down or points out to our medical situation. It must be given much more importance in the medical field that we must have more equipment, be much more prepared, especially what happened to us during the pandemic. It has greatly affected me also in the personal sense that in our educational system has been much harder to teach and much harder to learn via online learning. We lack of practical education, practical skills has not been integrated completely because of the pandemic. And that would be all. Thank you.